Hi developers. In React, your view is a function of your state. This means any changes made to your state will impact what the user sees on screen. But in some cases, you want to preserve a value across renders and you want to update it without triggering a re-render. This is where the useRef hook can be useful in your React application. With useRef, you can preserve a value between renders. And this is what differentiates useRef from regular variables, because regular variables will reset on every render. In this video, I'll show you how useRef can help you autofocus an element in the DOM after your component renders. Let's get started. All right, so we have this simple app here with 3 input fields, and notice how there's no focus on any of the fields. Even when we refresh our app, there's no focus on any of the input fields, forcing the user to click on one of the fields before they start typing. And when we refresh or re-render our component, the autofocus is gone. We can add the useRef hook in this scenario to autofocus on a field even after our component renders. To do that, we can declare a variable. We'll call it inputRef with useRef, and we'll pass a null value. This will be the initial value. When you call useRef at the top level of your component, it'll return a ref object with a single property called current. Now, if we take a look at the React documentation, we'll see that if you pass the ref object to React as a ref attribute to a JSX node, React will set its current property. This means that React will set the current property of your ref object to that DOM node. Now you can have access to that node and call methods on it. So if we take a look at this input field here and go set an attribute of ref and pass the input ref, React will be setting the current property with that node value. So since React is setting the current property value behind the scenes to that DOM element, now I can add the useEffect hook so I can manipulate that DOM element after my component renders. And what I'll do is add the useEffect and reference that current value, which in this case will be that node I'm referencing to, and run the focus function on it. If I run the focus function on it, then I'll be able to autofocus the element that I'm referencing to. And for that, I can use the inputRef variable, access the current property from that useRef object, and call focus on it. This will run after my component renders, letting me autofocus on that specific element. So now if we go to our app and refresh, you'll see that first name will then be autofocus on every re-render. So if we go to first name and then focus on last name, go to first name, go to phone, and I refresh my app, it'll autofocus back to first name. All right, so this is one way to add useRef hook to your application. In our case, we created the inputRef by using useRef and passing an initial value of null. What this does is just creates an object with the current property, and that current property is initialized to null. But then when we pass the inputRef as a ref property in one of the input elements, React will set the current value in that ref object to that node. So we can then preserve that value on render and reference that value in our useEffect, so we can then act on it by, in this case, focusing on that field. I hope you liked this video, learned something new, and have a better understanding of how to add useRef to your application. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.